Hey guys, it's Kim here with Verily Fiber Fun. Thanks for joining me on another show and tell episode. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrate, and if you didn't, I hope you had a wonderful November. It was a very warm Thanksgiving here, and not at all wintry, not like it was supposed to be. And we had sickness, pulled muscles, more sickness, but we got through it, and it was good. And I very much enjoyed it. So, yeah, and our backs are getting better. So, I am still recovering from a stomach virus, and I am getting kind of tired. It's in the afternoon, and I was hoping to get this filmed while there was still plenty of light, which is starting to fade already. And this is like my 8th attempt to film this show. So, I'm going to try to muddle through. We'll see. So I'm not very organized, and my thoughts are kind of everywhere, but we'll try it and see. I'm also cold. Anyway, I have been doing lots and lots of spinning in spite of everything going on. I spun a whole bunch of natural Targhee. I've spun some already dyed blue Cormo that looks like this in the Rolog form. And there goes my nose. It's really pretty. You guys have probably seen pictures of it on Instagram. And I've been spinning so that I could dye. And the first spin to dye was Gulf Coast Native fleece. Then I carded up, spun it, and then dyed monochromatic 2 layers. I am following the instructions that Laura in a Dyer's Notebook uses. So I learned from her, and so I dyed 1 layer, and then I changed the position of the yarn and the resist, and I dyed it again, and I loved it, so I left it like that. And this is the Reskein yarn. I could have done more, but I really love this. I'm not an orange fan, but like I said, this is absolutely gorgeous and I love it. I'll unwind it here so you can see. There's just so much tonality to it. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm loving this one. And it's about 60 grams, 64 grams I think. So it was a quick and easy dye job. And then I decided to dye up, to spin up some of the Targhee I had rewashed with Power Scour. And right quick, I'm going to talk about the Power Scour. It is some amazing, amazing stuff. It really is. I used it on the Targhee. I had already washed with Dawn dish soap, and I had scoured it 2 or 3 times, I think 3 times, and then rinsed it twice, and it still had lanolin in it, but the water came out clear. So before spinning the Targhee, and right after I got the Power Scour in the mail, I rewashed that section of fleece, and the water turned a dark, icky gray, and 1 round of scouring with Power Scour completely cleaned the fleece. It took 3 rinses to get everything out of it, and there was no lanolin in there. It was absolutely wonderful. So that made working with the fleece that much more wonderful. And I need to go get something. I don't know what I did with it. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I wanted to show you the next yarn, the Targhee yarn, while I was talking about the fiber. I spun it on Lady Elizabeth. I spun 2 bobbins, and I used my cone winder to make storage bobbins. And I made 2 storage bobbins so that I could spin something else on Lady Elizabeth while waiting to ply it, because I wanted it to rest a bit. So I finally got it plied, and it took me, I think, 6 hours to ply it all. It was 2.2 ounces of yarn, and I ended up with 560 skeins. I divided the skeins after dyeing, which I did 4 layers, but one of them was done in 2 parts, so it's almost like I did 5 layers. The first layer, I just laid the yarn in the dye bath that already had color in it, open skein, and I dyed it an even light violet. And then I twisted the skein up, and it was all one skein at this point. I twisted it up and I dyed it again with a slightly darker amount of color, a more dense color. Same dye because I'm still in the monochromatic stage. And then after that, I removed most of the water from the dye bath and I did a low immersion with it twisted a different way. And I inserted dye directly into the skein using a syringe. And I also had a little bit of dye in the dye bath. So, and I had to do that, do it on one layer and then flip it over and do the other layer. And that created some major interest in the darker splotches all over the skein, which was kind of cool. And then I did one more layer where I tied the skein into 3 slip knots and dyed it all over like that. And after it was dry, I reskeined it, and as I reskeined it, I divided it into 250 yard segments, but I had 60 yards left over. So I have 2 skeins that are the same size, and I think I'll divide it before dyeing next time. But here it is in all its beautiful violet vibrancy. It's absolutely gorgeous stuff. And I've already knitted up the 60-ounce segment. As you can see, there's all kinds of tonality in here. I think I'm ready to do more than one color now. So this is the 2 big skeins right here together. And my swatch that I knit up, I've got some lace and some cables and some other lace. I did this section with size 6 needles and the rest with size 3, and I like the size 3 better. So I'll insert some close-up pictures if y'all couldn't see that very well. But I am absolutely loving how this knit up, and I'm thinking about turning it into a little purse or something. All I have to do is sew the edges shut and then line it, and it'll be done, and like put a button or something on it. But and I steam walked this, and it was so cool to watch the stitches shift and the lace just open right up during the steaming process. It was really, really cool. So I'm loving the colorway, and I'm hoping I can repeat this because it would be fun to make a sweater out of this. That would be so cool, right? Like, I need more sweater spins. But anyway, I also, before I go on to the next one, after plying, I had this much yarn left over from the one bobbin. The first bobbin had more on it than the second one. I think it still has some cardboard, so I'm not sure. This might be the second one. So I'm going to bracelet ply this later and do something else with it. Sample a different colorway or something. So while that was drying, I spun up the blue Cormo that looks like this in fleece form. It's still got some lanolin in it, which gives it a little yellowish greenish look here and there. But that all washed out. I used Power Scour after I spun it, and all that extra lanolin and yellowish coloring came right out. So this is the finished skein, and I have, before reskeining, so like before I set the twist, I had, I think, 370 something yards. I don't remember, I forgot to write it down, but I'm going to reskein this. But I'm kind of thinking about, before I reskein it, I'm debating if I want to over dye it. Maybe throw a little purple in here, or maybe do more blue and a little touch of brown or something. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind what I want to do. What would you do with it? Would you leave it as is, because it's absolutely gorgeous? Or would you add more color to it and play with the color? So I'm going to spin another skein of this, and that way I can have one to play with the dyes and one to leave as is, and then I'll have a comparison for hopefully for next month. To show you guys next month. So I have right now dark brown acid dye, rust brown, I believe, acid dye, red brown. And then I have sky blue, violet, and pumpkin orange. And that's all the colors I currently have. So what would you do with those colors and this yarn if you wanted to play with dye? Please leave your comments in the comment section and let me know, because I would love, 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 love to know what you would do with this. Let me see if I can get this thing skeined up properly. My skeins are never all that pretty. So I think that's all on the spinning. Let me check my notes. Oh, I did manage to spin a bit on the Cormo, the natural gray Cormo. I think it's a black fleece, but it's gray. It's beautiful, dark and light gray. Sunburnt tips give it little pops of brown here and there, and it's absolutely gorgeous stuff and wonderful to work with. But I'm still on the second bobbin. I started this in the summer, and I hardly ever work on it. So I just put some cotton on Lady Elizabeth, which means if I want to spin wool, I have to spin on the sweater spin on the Babe Pinky. So, and that was why I did that, because I need to be able to spin on Lady Elizabeth because I love her to death and she's my favorite wheel, but I really need to get the sweater spin done. So I have got to work with both wheels here. Now I've gotten a ton of knitting done. I guess we're done talking about spinning, right? So I've gotten a ton of knitting done, and I can show a little bit with you, but I gotta go grab it. I have designed a glove pattern that is kind of unique. Now I haven't bought a bunch of glove patterns and compared them, so I don't know how unique this is, but it has an afterthought thumb and a decreased gusset above the thumb. So that's kind of odd, right? But because of the afterthought thumb, I had to get rid of those extra stitches, which is why there's a second gusset. But that gusset, it goes right here, so I think it's perfect. And these fit my 7-year-old perfectly. See how little that is compared to my hands? Tiny. And then I made a larger size to fit the 9-year-old right here. And again, fits perfectly. And these are knit with commercial yarns, just plain Caron Simply Soft or Red Heart yarns. These yarns didn't have labels anymore. They've been in my stash for so long, I don't know what they are, but I think this is Caron Simply Soft and this is some sort of Red Heart acrylic. They're both acrylic yarns, and that's not the best for gloves. If they're going to play in the snow, they need wool. But since we hardly ever get snow, these will keep their hands warm during the winter on those occasional days when it's cold enough to freeze your bones. And it does. The cold goes right into your bones here. So that's the majority of the knitting that I can show you. I am working on my Gulf Coast Native sweater that I dyed up with Wilton's food coloring dyes. And I still plan to sun bleach the whole entire sweater and then over dye it, because those dyes are not light fast at all. Wilton's food colorings just fade in normal light, like indoor light. The outside of the skeins were very, very faded, while the inside was still dark with color. So that was not a fun thing to figure out after I'd started knitting the sweater, but it's okay. It'll work. It'll look a little odd, but it'll be a unique sweater and it'll be all mine. Made from my own fleece. Well, not the fleece from my sheep because I don't have any sheep, but you know, I ordered the fleece. And it came very, very dirty, and I cleaned it, and I carded it, and I spun it, and I dyed it, and then I knit with it. So it is definitely all mine, and I'm very proud of it. And I'm loving it. So I did have to take the sleeves out and re-knit them, and I'm on the second sleeve. I think I have 4 rows left on the cuff, and then I can do the neck. So I'm really excited about that. And I might insert a picture here to show you. I did finish all of my Christmas projects, which I can't share with you until after Christmas, so you'll see those hopefully next month. I made socks for all of the kids, which they know about. So finally got the tails woven in on all of those, and everything's completely done, 100% done. I took my little craft bag with me, drawstring craft bag, to the car rider line because I get there about an hour early so that I can get to all 3 schools before the car rider lines are ended. It's hectic. So, but I take a craft with me or something. Sometimes I'll take a nap, sometimes I'll read. And this time I took only finished items that had tails sticking out everywhere. And I took a yarn needle and I spent that hour weaving in tails and clipping off the ends, and I got it all done. And now the Christmas presents are all completely finished. I have nothing else to work on for Christmas. So I'm hoping to get the sweater finished now, that's for me, and then work on my socks and try to get them done, which they're right here. I've just got some double point needles holding the stitches until my sock needles are available again. Yeah, it's all tangled up. Didn't know I could sing, did you? Okay, so these are cuff down socks. This was a Hiya knit along. It is not a Hiya pattern. And I did have to purchase the pattern because I didn't finish in time, obviously. The deadline was the end of October. This is the Valentine's Heart sock pattern, and I will link to the pattern in the show notes so you guys can see it. But I love the beads. Oh my gosh, these beads were so tiny, none of my little crochet hooks would fit through them, so I used a piece of I think quilting thread, waxed it on a white crayon because I didn't know where my beeswax had gone, and I used that to thread the beads on here, and it worked beautifully. I might do a tutorial on that one day. We'll see. Maybe when I'm working on the second sock. Anyway, I just need to do the toe and this one's done. But other knits took precedence, and it is what it is. Let me see what else I was going to talk about. I think that's everything. I do have a whole lot of other stuff that I'm working on, and like I said, I'm working on more spinning stuff and dyeing, and I have a dyeing project that's going to be part of Christmas. The kids are making things for each other, and one of the things is a dyeing project that I really can't talk about until after the fact, but it is awesome. Actually, we have 2 projects that use dye. Ooh, this is going to be fun. So I bought some extra fabric because it is using dyes that are not designed for wool yarn, and I'm actually going to try using it on my cotton yarn, whatever is left over, if I can get some cotton spun up. Speaking of cotton, I did want to show you guys. This bowl right here has the cotton from my own plants and seeds from my marigolds. I got tons and tons and tons of seeds from them. But not all of them will germinate. And I'm not sure why. Maybe I harvested them before they were mature. Oh, I tried to support spindle and it wasn't working. This is not supposed to be a support spindle. I don't know how to do that. So this is the beautiful cotton from my own plants. And because they weren't watered all that often, there's some really nasty looking things that feel weird. But I'll spin what I can from this and have fun with it. This was all from one plant. All of this. So there's a whole lot more cotton out there waiting that I'm waiting on to mature before I pick it. But I love how like crimpy it is. It's almost like wool. It's so crimpy and so soft, and I can't wait to start spinning it. This is what it looks like when it's not quite mature. It's in this little wad. It fluffs out more once it's ready to be picked. Kind of like this. This is one. Oh, it's much more fluffy. So I have tons of seeds in here, and I'm hoping that I can get several of these seeds to germinate and start that in January or February, and then we'll have another round of cotton for next year. So that's the exciting news about the cotton. And of course this is from the ginned cotton I was given, and just a little bit of yarn, no biggie. And that's what I'm spinning again on my wheel. I'm waiting to spin the homegrown cotton until the plants are completely finished and I've harvested all of the cotton. And then I can see how much cotton I have and how much yarn it makes. So that'll be kind of fun. But I have these bags and bags and bags and bags and bags of ginned cotton that was being given away by the cotton mill. Yeah, the mill. And my mom had gone to the mill and they had used this cotton as a demonstration, I guess. And they couldn't use it for anything. It's useless to them. So they were giving it away. And they were giving away 5 big trash bags full. And my mom brought one to me. But I got 5. They're up there on the top of my shelf. I got 5 grocery bags, like the Walmart grocery bags. I got 5 of those stuffed full. I had more than that. One bag got left outside in the weather. I forgot about it. I was cleaning house and just moving things outside to get them out of the way, and that one was forgotten and left out there. So I had to throw it away because bugs and spiders and got all in it. And I don't do that. I don't do bugs. I kill every bug I see in the house. I hate bugs. So, and then my daughter's been using some of it as stuffing for one of her projects. Like she was sewing a pillow at school. She's in what I call home ec, although it's not called that anymore. Family something, it's FACS, but I don't remember what the letters stand for. Anyway, so she's used up about half of one bag of cotton, and of course I've spun a little bit. So, but it's going to take me a lifetime to use all this up. I do believe it's dirty, and it, the leaves and stuff, they don't all come out, and so it leaves crud in the yarn. There's little bits of stuff in here. A lot of it falls out during carding and again during spinning, but I feel like I'm carding dirty wool. It's ridiculous how much dirt and stuff comes out of it. Apparently there's a lot of ashes in it too, and soot and stuff. Anyway, filthy, filthy stuff, but it's cotton and it's something to spin. And I've never spun cotton before, so yeah, I might start a series on cotton processing and spinning and all the cool things you can do with it. So if you guys would like that, if you think that would be interesting, please let me know. I will be doing a few like surveys on Instagram stories, like the live stories sort of thing. Do it a few times, maybe. I'm doing one right now, but this is December 2nd, and you probably won't see this until December 8th. So I'll do another one after this video goes out. Anyway, you can always comment below the show in the comment section below the show notes. Sorry, my brain is just not wanting to work. Or you can contact me on Patreon or Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, YouTube. Yeah, I think that's it. This is too much. Or you can email me. All that'll be in the show notes. So check the show notes for links, and I'll see you next month. Bye, guys. Have a happy December.